Hey guys, Joshua Peterson, Peterson Electric. Normally you guys know me doing a lot of electrical videos, but I want to talk to you today about RV maintenance and care during the springtime when you get to unwinterize or de-winterize your RV. We have a 2012 32 foot fifth wheel toy hauler in the back. Some of the things that you want to pay attention to, first of all, make sure that your tires, check your tires right here, okay? Look for any dry rot or any low spots. This sat all winter. We did drive it probably 2-3 times during the winter to make sure the tires were getting a little warmed up. We had some real sunny days in December and a little bit in January. So if you get a chance and it's kind of winter time, just go ahead and hook it up. Make sure you're driving it. It does help the tires from getting a flat spot. The other thing is check for right here, just your air pressure. This is 95 psi, and that means max. Okay, make sure you have an air gauge that goes up to then 100 or 120. That's real important because the smaller air gauges that go up to 60 will not do it. The other thing you want to make sure is that this is the refrigerator here. This can be your compressor, your 110 volt, your igniter for your auto to switch over from auto or normally just gas. And then over here is your igniter inside of here that's clicking when you try to turn it on. You will get kind of a dead spot. If you're doing this in the winter and you're going to use it, make sure you use just a simple, I'll show you on the other side, but a simple light with about a 60-watt bulb in there, and you hook it up. You do have to run your generator to get juice to this outlet, but once you're running it for about a day before you decide to leave with your RV and cool your refrigerator, otherwise you're going to freeze up your components and wreck your refrigerator. So again, you can plug into this 110 outlet, hang a lamp here, put just a little cardboard cover like this. You shouldn't catch it fire. You should not catch fire at all as long as you have a 60 watt and it's just in this area. So when you go to de-winterize, you're going to want to take, this is your heater plug. Okay, we took off all of our old pipe dope, and basically we're putting this one back on with some new pipe dope. When we did drain it, we cracked it here with a 1 1/16 inch nut driver. Okay, I keep this on the RV at all times because this is if my heater goes out or I need to drain for any reason, you're going to have to drain. So what I did is I left this already cracked and out. I probably next time will just leave it out somewhere because I had a little bit of rust buildup when I just left it there, and we had some hard water in there. But you're going to want to leave that out anyways when you go to flush. So let's go to the other side here. Real quick, make sure that your propane tank is in the on position and shut. Righty is not righty is tighty on this definitely, but open up your propane tank, and then you can pick either side here or here. But my wife just chose to keep it in the center, so if one goes out, we could just turn off the other side, actually, is what we can do. So what we'll do over here is turn this off. We'll go ahead and just turn this side off. We don't need to have that one open. Okay. Inside of here is the lamp I was telling you about that you can use for 110 plug, just to heat it up. If you're going to take it out in the winter, it's really cold out. You want to make sure you heat that for a day before you go and fire up your refrigerator. Anyways, over here, this is going to be your winterizing system. So during winterize, you're going to hit winterize. And then here, when you go to flush it, you're going to hit bypass and put your RV Marine 50% protection in there, which is just basically going to be a radiator fluid. When we went to actually flush this, we actually went to, did you have it on normal or bypass?
Bypass.
Yeah, she put it on bypass, and it actually pushed the water out when we turned on that generator to get the pump going. Okay, so here right now we're going to go to normal, and finally we're going to go back to normal. Yeah. But right there, as I go to normal, you can hear it trying to kick on with the 12-volt pump, and that wants to start pushing the RV fluid out, and I can show you that here in just a second. So again, here, right here is going to be your bath. upper gallery. This is going to be your toilet. We only have one toilet. We have a lower gallery and upper for gray tank. And right down here is also going to be our kitchen. Okay, and we've already checked this and flushed all the radiator fluid out of there. We made sure that we had a clean, happy tank for the winter by making sure that the black tank was actually had a forget what we call it, apologize, but it's a bacteria, what do you call that fluid in there? Anyways, a bacteria fluid that we put in the bottom of the tank to eat up the leftover toilet paper for winter, because we did winterize it. It's this, what did you say?
Probably sanitizer.
A sanitizer, yeah. Anyways, sorry about that. We did pump out a lot of our old gas right here, okay? We have a pump right here. When it gets to E, it truly is out. But we didn't want to reuse that, so we used some of that in our lawnmower. The other thing is I'm going to show you this real quick. Yeah, so that was pushing out the water out of here that we're going to plug now. But we did flush that for about a minute because all that hard water buildup was inside of there, and you can see that gets like almost like a calcium deposit in there. You don't want it wrecking the threads, so you want to make sure that that is definitely getting moved around. Okay, and we'll hit that one more time. Just stay right there. So again, we went from bypass to normal. We don't have the generator running, but that takes out all that hard water and calcium deposit that just seemed to sit up there all winter. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're just going to use a simple pipe dope. Oh, excuse me, this is not pipe dope, but a tape. I already wrapped the other side. Okay, I already used some WD-40 to clean it up. If your heater goes out, or your hot water tank, that's the coil right there you're going to want to replace, that stick. You just want to go snug. Okay, you're going to have quite a bit left over sitting out. Now I'm going to turn that back on. Pump. We shouldn't have any water coming out of that. So it'll turn off on its own because now it's going to be filling the water tank. In the wintertime, you don't want antifreeze to be going into the hot water tank and sitting. Otherwise, it'll wreck the heater. So typically, again, you're going to put that to bypass, and then you're going to put all that fluid in and suck it through by turning on your motor and sucking it in all of the pipes. And basically what keeps it from freezing is draining the lower end of your water tank completely, making sure your pipes are drained at the lowest knuckles, which is going to be your two grays in this case, and your one black on your toilet. And then right here, that was the last step that we popped open, and all of the water that was left in the belly at this top point of the hot water heater came gushing out. And there was quite a bit when we did that in the fall. When you want to do that, all depends on your RV. Depends on your insulation value. This is a winter tech, so this thing, if I skirted it, it'd go all winter. We didn't do it until probably around November, and we were fine. But there was a point where I was a little concerned, so I just drove over there and hit the lower valve, and I'll show you where that is real quick. And we dumped the whole tank because we didn't want to shatter that. That was the most important. Again, water expanded. and that was right here. If you can see right where my finger's at, this is the valve that I could literally dump our 161 gallon tank. And I dumped that, and then I waited 2 weeks and came back and I winterized it because I wasn't sure if I was getting out again. These are the lowest points right here that you're draining of extra water that comes off of that same, because it's a white pipe, okay? And we opened those up and made sure those were drained. And then we had 2 other valves. I think they were right. Oh, I always forget. They were right. Oh, right over here. You'll open these up too. This is your hot and cold, and that's for the upper gallery, and that'll drain whatever's left over for the winter as well. So again, you're just trying to get all that water out of there and suck in some antifreeze to keep it from freezing. The other thing you want to do on your generator is you want to log your hours, and you want to make sure you're changing your oil on your generator fairly often. I don't know the exact point that we do it. I just ask my RV guy, because he's the one that helps me with that. But it's a Cummins Owen RV 5500, and that means kilowatts. Here's your tag right here for all your specs that you'll need. Here's going to be your oil that he fills, typically is what he was showing me. And our oil filter on this guy was actually right here under the bottom. So when he cracks through the bottom, it pours right out. Puts a new one in, fills the oil. That's pretty much it. You do want to run your generator in the winter, because otherwise inside the cylinders can get flat. So when I went over basically once a month or every other month, I would run that for about an hour or two, do my errands, come back, and then I could turn it off. But that helps the generator operate a lot longer through life, and also just working better for you when you fire it up in the spring. And when you first fire it up, when you're starting to get warm, remember that aluminum and those precious metals will expand and contract. You want to warm it up and not have a huge heavy load on it right away. A lot of people just get going, throw a load on it. It's kind of like driving your car in the winter. You want to let that thing warm up for a few minutes when it's really cold out. And even on this in the summer, I just kind of let them run just about 20 minutes before I start putting a load on it. Over here is your battery. Go ahead and come over here, I'll hold this. And you want to make sure that you're getting your negative and your positives correct. We did have 2 6-volt batteries, and we did those in series. And when you do those in series, you're going to be negative to, excuse me, let me just get this right, because I did mess this up once and I had to pay for it. But this is a 12-volt battery, so we just went positive and negative here. When we had 2 6-volts, we went negative to positive, positive to negative, and then to positive back. So we were going through the batteries, and what that did is that lowered our voltage and increased our ampere hours, and it was almost double. We did try this for this year because we lost our batteries, and we realized that it wasn't working too well. So I think we lost our batteries premature, and that was probably my learning curve. But on these guys, again, this is going to be your negative, here's your positive. I use red on my cables for positive, and we also labeled it. So that way, one time, like I said, we mixed it up. We automatically blew that board right up there, which was our electronic legs, and it could not go up or down. And we couldn't even use it that week until the RV guy had to order a part, which took a couple weeks to get in. The last thing I want to show you guys is a little bit of care, or 2 things. One, just use some WD-40 in all your joints. Okay, this makes your life so much easier than trying to fight that and hurt your knuckles or your shins. Even do WD-40 in all your locks. Okay. The other thing, the last thing for care, is you want to make sure that through the winter, you're not leaving your batteries out in the cold. They still have a liquid inside of them. It will expand and contract, and they will wreck the cells. So what we do is we leave them in our garage, because our garage is more, it's not completely insulated, but it's better than being out in the winter there. We will come in here and put it on a 2-amp cycle and leave it on there for about 2-3 days. Then we will come out, and this charger is nice because it'll say it's fully charged. This is my backup charger. I use this one on the Duramax and the other one on the Sprinter when it gets really cold out. I will roll this card out, and I will put put a tub over this so it doesn't get too hot, but yet the snow doesn't hit it. And I'll deep cycle my batteries through the winter if I'm not using, especially like the SUV, if we're not using it that week. But you want to be on your 2 ampere hour. Okay, I put 10 on that when I was actually doing something, but you typically want to be on a 2 amp hour. This one doesn't have a charger light to tell you it's full, so you have to pay attention to where that needle is, because you can overboil your batteries. When you have a 6-volt battery, you still can do the 2 ampere hour, but you're probably not going to be on as long. That would be my guess. I could be wrong. You guys could Google me or YouTube me on that. But again, you want to have some of these chargers. Both of these are made by the same company, but the thing that's different about them is some of the features on them. This one will actually say deep cycle here. And so at one point when the Duramax wasn't starting when it was cold, we actually just went to SLI and we hit 12 amp. Actually, we hit 75 amp, and boom, we were able to start up that engine cold. This one does not have that option. And the Duramax actually has 2 batteries that are going to be in series of each other as well. That one is doing the cold cranking amps and the other one is working on the truck. And my Sprinter van here for work, my Mercedes van, it actually has 2 batteries as well. And they're both 12 volts. So a little bit of learning curves. Hopefully it helped you guys out to remember how to de-winterize. The last thing I want to mention is get on top of your roof. That is a membrane roof. You can use a simple pressure washer. You do not want to be direct. You want to mist it, get it wet, and then we're going to go up there and do some caulking on the top edges because there's a little bit of cracking going on. Anyways, thanks guys for joining us. Have a good day.